In this chapter, we have three subtopics: 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. 3.1 is the solutions of nonlinear equations. We have to solve the equation, meaning that we have to find the value of x. The second subtopic is Newton-Raphson method. Still the same, we are going to solve an equation by using the formula of Newton-Raphson. Okay, lastly, 3.3 is trapezoidal rule. The use of the trapezoidal rule is to find an area under the curve. So this is the alternative method to find area under the curve instead of we integrate the function. So for this chapter, for this subtopic 3.3, we are going to find an area under the curve by using trapezoidal formula. So we don't have to integrate the function unless the question asks you to integrate the function. Right, let's start 3.1, solutions of nonlinear equations. Here, bear in mind, we have to solve the equation. Nonlinear equations means the equation other than x power of 1. So might be the equation combines between two functions. For example, it combines quadratic and also exponential. So you have to find the value of x for this equation. Other example for nonlinear equation might be it combines between log and also rational function. So if we are given this type of equation, we cannot find straight away the value of x. Kan calculator pun dia tak boleh nak dapatkan nilai x tersebut. Okay, so we have a method. For this subtopic, we have a method, alternative method to find the value of x. So the idea for this subtopic is to find the value of x. In other words, we can say that we are going to find the root. Okay, if you still remember the three keywords in chapter 6 last semester polynomial, we have three keywords. We have factor, root, and also zero. Kalau factor tu in terms of bracket, x plus 1 bracket x plus 2 and so on. Kalau root kita tulis dalam bentuk x equals to something. X equals to something, this is the root. So, kita akan cari nilai x dalam subtopik ini. Ataupun I can say we are going to find x-intercept. So the x-intercept happens when y equals 0. Okay. So what is the method to find or to solve all the value of x for an equation? So we have few methods. The first one, by using, we call it as graphical method. So clearly from the name graphical method, you have to sketch the graph. So what is the flow to use graphical method to find the value of x? Firstly, you have to sketch the graph. Okay, for sketching the graph, we have two types of questions. Either you are given only one function, or you are given two functions. Okay, one function means you have, for example, ex power of 0. E power of x equals to 0. Find the value of x by sketching graph. Kalau dua functions ni, for example, you have like this, x squared dengan ex. You combine dua function begitu dalam satu graph. Meaning that you have to sketch two graphs in x, y axis, the same coordinate axis. Okay, kalau dibagi satu function, you have to find the x-intercept. Kalau satu function kena cari x-intercept. If the graph has an x-intercept, therefore there is a root or there is a value of x yang mana kita boleh solve equation tersebut. So x equals to something. Nilai x-intercept itu adalah jawapan bagi persoalan ini. Okay, nanti kita akan tengok contoh. If you are given two functions, for example, x squared plus ex equals to 0, the flow is you have to sketch both graphs one by one. For example, you have x squared plus ex, you have to sketch the quadratic graph first, graph quadratic, smile, and then sketch the graph of exponential. Kalau ada dua functions, you have to find point of intersection. The point of intersection means we have x and y coordinate. If there is a point of intersection, therefore there is a solution of that equation. So the value of x from the point of intersection, the x coordinate, going to be the solution yang kita kena cari di awal soalan tadi. Kalau dia tidak ada intersection antara kedua-dua graph, maksudnya we cannot solve the equation. Okay, that's graphical method. Firstly, you have to sketch the graph, and then second one, that's the first step. Second step, you have to write down a conclusion sentence. This is compulsory. Ada markah, ada dua markah tak silap saya. A conclusion sentence. As I said, if there is an x-intercept for one function graph, therefore there is a solution. Sama kalau dua function, if there is a point of intersection, therefore the graph has a solution. Okay. Dan kita boleh cari dia punya point of intersection, nilai x tersebut dia punya solution. Okay, that's the first method to find the value of x. The second method is by using calculation. If the question mentioned, solve this equation by using calculation method. Calculation, simply calculate. Make it fx equals to 0. And then you use algebra knowledge, tambah tolak darab bahagi semua sampai kamu akan dapat nilai x. Itu dia punya jawapan calculation. Method yang ketiga iaitu algebraic method. Once again, we are using calculation. Kalau dia kata find the solution or show that there is a solution for equation x squared plus ex equals to 0. Kalau dia suruh cari by using algebraic method. Kalau dia suruh gunakan algebraic method untuk dapatkan solution, what you have to do is you have to, algebraic method biasanya akan bagi in between some interval from A to B. Dia mesti wajib bagi satu interval. So what you have to do is you have to substitute both value one by one into the fx. Soalan akan bagi fx and interval. The question will give you fx and also the interval. So what you have to do is substitute both value one by one. Substitute A first, fa, followed by fb. If there is an opposite sign, let's say fa you got positive value, fb you got negative value. So if there is an opposite sign, maksudnya there is a changing sign, therefore the root exists in the interval A to to B. Ini jalan kerja yang kamu kena tunjukkan kalau nak solve equation dengan menggunakan algebraic method. Kena masukkan, tunjukkan macam mana kamu masukkan value A dan B, dan conclusion, ayat conclusion ini adalah wajib sebab ada 2 markah situ. Okey, apa signifikan macam mana kita nak faham algebraic method? Apa yang kita buat dekat sini, kenapa kena tengok changing sign? Reason dia adalah berbalik kepada graph. Dia punya objektif sama, nak cari nilai X ataupun nak cari X intercept. Kenapa kena adanya positif dan negatif sign? Sebab back to graph, let's say I take cubic graph. Okay, kalau dia bagi satu interval from negative 1 until 1. Kalau saya masukkan, given that fx is x cube, f negative 1 is negative 1 itself, f1 is 1. So ada changing sign dekat sini. Jawapan yang kita dapat positif dan negatif ni adalah value of y. Untuk berlakunya x intercept, y on one side mesti positif dan the other side mesti negatif. That's logic. Saya ulang, untuk berlakunya sesuatu x intercept di x axis, one side nilai y mesti positif. The other side nilai y mesti negatif. Jika berlakunya y positif dan satu lagi y negatif, maksudnya tengah-tengah antara interval tersebut wujudnya x intercept. Bila wujudnya intercept, di situlah dia punya nilai x dan itulah kita punya solution. So itu signifikan kenapa kita kena dapatkan satu positif, satu negatif value daripada substitution A dan B tersebut. Sebab kita boleh nampak, boleh agak adanya x intercept which is the root or the solution of the equation. Okay, let's look at a few examples from lecture note. Ini yang dia explain everything dalam box in graphical method. Okay, let's try few example. Okay, kalau yang ni saya dah tunjuk tadi, y equals to x cube by using graphical method. We have to sketch the graph of x cube. So pada bahagian graphical method ni, saya rasa kamu kena buat revision sedikit tentang basic shape. Saya rasa ramai yang dah lupa macam mana nak sketch graph. Okay, kalau dah lupa, please recall and revise. Make a revision sebelum jawab soalan graphical method. Okay, example 1 from lecture note. Jadi dia bagi y equals to x cube. Okay, by sketching the graph. Okay, this is the graph for cubic function. Okay, soalan kata show that there is a root. Find the root of the equation y equals to x cube. Find the root. So find the value of x. So from the graph we can see that the value of x is x equals to 0. So jawab soalan. Soalan kata find the root. Therefore, the root is x equals to 0. Okay, simple. Kena ada graph dan kena ada conclusion. Example 2. Show that there exists a real root between 1 until 4 for the equation ln x plus x minus 4 is equal to 0 by using the graphical method. Okay, dia dah mention dekat situ by using graphical method. Show that there exists a real root between 1 until 4 by using graphical method. So we have to sketch the graph. In this case, we have two functions, ln x and also linear function. This is linear, this is log. So separate the equation into two different functions, y1 and y2. So y1 is equals to ln x. Okay, y2 is equals to this is y1 equals to y2. Okay, example yang dibagi dekat sini ln x plus x minus 4. Actually the combination between log dengan linear. So to be clear, separate both functions first. Log one side, the second function linear on right hand side. So you can see it is actually dia dah equate y1 equals to y2. Kenapa dia dah equate y1 dengan y2? Sebab kalau ada dua function, we are going to find the point of intersection, the x coordinate of the point of intersection. So now from the first function y1 goes to ln x, sketch the graph of ln x. So, siapa yang dah lupa dengan basic shape, all the basic shape, please do a revision by yourself. So, ini dia punya x-intercept 1. Okay, the second function y equals to four minus x. This is a linear graph with the y-intercept is 4 and negative gradient. Something like this. Okay, soalan dekat sini show. Beza dengan soalan nombor 1 tadi dia kata find. Find the root of the equation y equals to x cube. Bila dia kata find, kamu kena bagi apakah nilai x tersebut. To find. Kalau dia kata show, kamu tak perlu pun mention berapakah nilai x tersebut. Kamu hanya perlu tunjuk exist, ada ke tak ada dia punya point of intersection. Okay, you don't have to find the exact value of the point of intersection here. Sebab dia tak, bukan dia suruh find the root. Okay, show sahaja. Jadi how do we show? We sketch both graphs and we can see there is a point of intersection. So what we can say to answer the question, since there is a point of intersection, therefore ambil ayat daripada soalan. The real root is exists between 1 until 4 for the equation ln x plus x minus 4. Therefore, the real root exists between 1 to 4 for the equation ln x plus x minus 4 equals 0. That's the way we conclude the answer. Any questions so far? Jangan tidur ya pagi-pagi ni. Lepas ni saya akan bagi exercise. Tak ada?
Tidak, madam.
Tidak, madam.
Madam,
Ya.
Kalau macam term 1 tu ayatkan yang since there is a point of intersection, kalau macam hilang salah satu perkataan hilang markah terus.
Okey, dekat mana dia punya markah? Saya akan tunjukkan. Dia biasanya ada dua point penting dan satu point penting tu menunjukkan satu markah. Satu, kamu kena jawab soalan. Adakah wujudnya point of intersection? So, kita kena jawab adanya point of intersection. Okay. Point of intersection tu pula, dia bagi syarat. Adakah point of intersection tu wujud antara 1 sampai 4? So, kita boleh agak dekat sini kan, dia punya x-intercept untuk ln x ni x-intercept dia 1. So saya lupa tadi nak letak dia punya x-intercept untuk linear function. Dekat linear function ni x-intercept dia 4. Macam mana dapat 4 when y equals to 0, x equals to 4. So kamu kena jawab sebab dia bukan nak sebarang any point of intersection. Point of intersection tu mesti wujud dalam range 1 sampai 4. So there is a point of intersection dan point of intersection tu wujud di antara 1 sampai 4. So dua benda ni yang wajib ada dalam conclusion sebab satu point ni satu markah. Okay, clear? Okay, next example. Example 1, example 2. Okay, example 3. y1 equals to x, y2 equals to e power of negative x on the same coordinate axis. Sketch the graph. Estimate. Estimate means you have to find the root of the equation for both of them. X dengan e power of negative x. Estimate ni maksudnya find ya. Jadi kita kena bagi exact value. Bukan setakat show sahaja dia ada point of intersection. Since we have two functions, we have to show the point of intersection and find out the value. Okay, firstly we have to sketch the graph of y1, which is the linear graph, very simple. And then label your graph. Straight line with the y-intercept is 0. Ini y1, label. And then y2 exponent. Okay, mesti ramai yang dah lupa ni tentang basic shape of exponent. Let me remind you before we sketch the graph. Okay, untuk exponential function, we have 4 basic shapes. Okay, the basic shape depends on the quadrant ataupun depends on the sign positive or negative for both x dengan y. Okay, kalau in the first quadrant bentuk dia begini. Second, third, fourth quadrant. Okay, for first quadrant bentuk dia begini sekiranya both y and x positive. Okay, yang ini y positive, second quadrant, x is negative. Untuk third quadrant, both x and y negative. For fourth quadrant, x is positive, pasti x positive, and y is negative. Okay. Tengok balik pada soalan, y ni yang selepas di depan e. Y is positive, x is negative. Y positive, x negative. So kita ambil basic shape daripada second quadrant. Nanti bentuk dia akan jadi begini. Okay, with the horizontal asymptote dia kat sini, y equals to 0. So sketch the graph. Label the y-intercept is 1. Okay, now. I think this one is minus. Ini sepatutnya minus ni, x minus e power of negative x, sebab kat sini y1 when y1 equals to y2, x equals to e power of negative x, x minus e power of negative x equals to 0. Okay, macam mana nak agak dia punya estimate? Tak semestinya tepat kamu punya root estimate. So, anyone, macam mana nak agak dia punya nilai x ni yang kita nak cari sekarang ni? What is the x coordinate of the point of intersection? Root dia ada, exist, tapi value dia berapa?
Let x equals to e power x.
Let x equals to, once again,
Let x equals to e power x. E power negative x.
and then
And then find x. So that one is the root.
like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we learn both sides. Can we solve?
I'm not sure.
Still we cannot solve because it is not linear equation. We cannot solve. Any other idea? Actually, we don't have to. We don't have to do any calculation. We can just focus on the graph and find out the value of x.
X equal to 1 kami din.
Di mana dapat x equals to 1?
Sebab dia intercept di y sama dengan 1. So y equal to x equal to 1 lah.
Kalau ikutkan dia bukannya y equals to, dia bukan y equals to 1 sebab graf saya sepatutnya tak mendata, sepatutnya dia akan approaching graph exponential ni, dia akan approaching 0. Macam ni. Ni graph exponential, dia akan approaching dia punya horizontal asymptote tu. Kalau sini 1, okay, anyone, dia bukannya 1 sebenarnya, bukannya graph constant ni, dia ke bawah ni.
Madam, kalau x
Yeah.
greater to 0,
X
greater 0.
greater than 0. Terlalu general, betul, tapi terlalu general. Dah hampir betul dah. The idea memang greater than 0. Any other idea?
Y less than 1.
Ya, dia kalau tengok secara logik dekat sini kamu boleh nampak sebenarnya dia punya nilai, we don't have to solve. Sebab dia dah bagi function yang sangat senang, y equals to x. Anything we can get, sama ada kamu dapat y dulu, itulah dia punya nilai x. Jadi kita perlu tengok dia punya nilai y dia sebenarnya. Ataupun boleh nampak daripada nilai x dekat sini. Kalau ikutkan dia punya graph, point of intersection ni berlaku pada x less than 1. Ni point of intersection, let me elaborate. At x less than 1. Sebab dia punya y-intercept dekat sini, because the y-intercept of e power of negative x is positive 1. Kalau dekat sini y dia 1, bermaksud graf dia akan ke bawah lagi ni. Jadi, patutnya saya, let me re-sketch the graph. Ini graf y equals to x. Okay, dekat sini berlakunya point of intersection yang sebenar. Kalau kamu boleh nampak, the point of intersection ni berlaku apabila graf eksponen ni bernilai 0.00 something sebelum 1. Okay, kriteria untuk point of intersection dekat sini berlaku point of intersection berlaku apabila the value of y of e power of negative x is less than 1. Okay, and coincident pada y less than 1 dekat sini, kalaulah let's say y dekat sini kalaulah y dekat sini positif 0.5 contoh. Coincident dia punya second graph is y equals to x. So kalau dekat sini y point of intersection dia y 0.5, automatic nilai x akan jadi 0.5. So in between, sebab tu dia kata estimate, kita tak tahu dapat nilai exact value. So what we can say is the root is between, ataupun terus tulis begini, between 0 to 1. Dia 0 point something. Sebab nilai y dekat situ antara 0 sampai 1. Bila y antara 0 sampai 1, x pun akan jadi 0 sampai 1 juga. Sebab y equals to x for the linear function. Okay. The next one is exercise. Daripada lecture ni ada 2 exercise. Saya nak kamu buat dan hantar sebelum jam 12, sebelum jam 11. Due before 11. Saya nak teruskan sikit lagi dengan algebraic method. Okay, algebraic method as I mentioned, we have to, soalan akan bagi 2 value of x. Ini interval ya. Interval ni maksudnya both of them x. From x equals to 2.4 until x equals to 2.5. So we have to find the fx first. Fx ni mesti something yang equals to 0. Sebab kita nak cari x-intercept. Meaning that we have to move one function to the other side to make it equal to 0. Substitute 1 by 1, 2.4 first, followed by 2.5. If there is a different sign or changing sign plus and minus, therefore the root lies between this interval. So it's very simple. Let's try example 4 now. Fx is equals to 3x minus x cubed. This is equals to 0. Substitute both limits from 2.4. So 3 power of 2.4 minus 2.4 power of 3. Please calculate the value, tell me the answer.
-0.143.
Okay, thank you. For the second value?
-0.04.
Okay, so we have positive value and negative value. Okay, don't forget the conclusion to answer the question. Since there is a different sign, opposite sign ataupun changing sign, it's up to you. Nak pilih keyword yang mana? Different sign or opposite sign or changing sign. Okay, ada 3 keyword, kamu boleh pilih. Therefore, okay, lepas therefore, ambil ayat daripada soalan. The root of the equation 3x equals x power of 3 lies in the interval 2.4 until 2.5. Therefore, the root of the equation 3 power of x equals to x cubed lies in the interval 2.4 until 2.5. Any questions about algebraic method or the graphical method?
No.
Ada soalan? It's very easy. Hanya masukkan value sahaja dan tengok changing sign. Sekiranya tidak ada changing sign, maksudnya root dia tidak adalah dekat situ. Any questions?
Madam,
Ya.
kalau algebraic method memang dia bagi sedia value x kah?
Value x tu tak ada, dia bagi interval.
Okay.
Madam,
Hmm.
Madam kalau untuk mau show interval untuk satu equation tu boleh pilih mana-mana kan antara graphical method ataupun algebraic method.
Untuk show macam mana?
Show kan dia bagi satu equation
Hmm.
and then kita kena show yang equation tu
Hmm.
lies
Ada
dekat anda dekat interval tu, ada interval tu, jadi boleh pilih mana-mana kan?
Oh, okay. Jawapannya kita boleh tengok. Okay, macam mana nak identify sama ada kita kena gunakan algebraic method ataupun graphical method. Jawapannya selalunya kalau dia bagi interval, memang kita akan, most of the time kita akan gunakan graphical method. Okay, let me write down something. Siapa yang tak boleh nak faham ayat, saya boleh belajar secara visual. Okay, sebenarnya macam mana nak tahu, how do we know whether we have to use the, how to choose the method? Sama ada algebraic atau graphical method. Okay, jawapannya most of the time kita memang akan gunakan graphical method. No, sorry. Most of the time kita akan gunakan algebraic method. Kecuali soalan memang mention graphical method ataupun dia kata sketch the graph. Adalah perkataan graph kat situ, kamu kena gunakan graphical method. Okay, itu satu hint macam mana nak pilih method. Most of the time kamu akan gunakan algebraic method. Okay, hint yang kedua, sekiranya graph bagi, soalan bagi satu function dan dia bagi interval daripada A to B, ini salah satu juga hint yang jelas kenapa kena guna algebraic method. Sebab dengan adanya nilai ni, A, B ni, dia suruh kita masukkan A dan B untuk tahu dan tengok dia punya changing sign, positif dan negatif. Dan biasanya kalau graphical method dia jarang bagi interval, sebab daripada graph tu sendiri kita dah boleh nampak macam graph tadi macam ni. Kita dah boleh nampak dah dia antara 0 sampai 10 contoh. Kita dah boleh nampak interval tu sendiri. Sebab kita boleh tengok dia punya paksi Y dengan X intercept dekat bahagian graph ni. Point of intersection tu memang wujud antara So X2 lies in between 0 until 10. Kalau graphical method dia tak akan bagi interval. Kita boleh cari sendiri melalui sketch graph. Kalau soalan bagi interval, memang kita biasanya akan gunakan algebraic unless soalan mention mesti kena guna graphical method.